Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acomb. We're broadcasting from the Hesselson studio, and this is the Steuben County Office for the Aging section of our program. Steuben County Office for the Aging, committed to maximizing quality of life, safety, and independence. And joining us in the Hesselson studio, we have Justin, who is running for Steuben County Legislature. Congratulations.
Good morning.
What do you think about the process? Petition process, I'm sure you've done it in the past. It's kind of a tough battle.
It's definitely a love-hate situation.
Yeah.
The hate's the weather.
Yes.
It's either rainy, snowy, or icy.
Mm-hmm.
But the love is getting out, talking to people.
And I want to talk about that, what people are saying on the ground, because I've always said, and this isn't anything brilliant, a lot of people have said it, that petitions are a part of a campaigning, and you learn so much from the people that you are asking to vote for you. So tell us, for those that aren't aware, you're a candidate for Steuben County Legislator. People can see on the bottom of the screen for District 13, Caton, Corningtown, and Hornby. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So born and raised right here in Steuben County.
Mm-hmm.
Grew up in Corning. Graduated from East High.
Oh, okay. All right. Interview over.
Yeah.
Right. No, of course. That's a joke.
So then from there, I started working in healthcare. I've been surgical technician, certified surgical technician for 23 years.
Wow.
Currently live in Hornby. Wife, 3 kids.
And you're, correct me if I'm wrong, the supervisor?
Town supervisor.
How long have you been that?
I'm starting my 2nd year supervisor.
Oh, wow. Okay.
4 years before that, town council member.
Mm-hmm.
And planning board on and off prior to that.
Yeah. I got to get somebody from West on this program once. East is taking over our local politics. I don't know what's happening. How do you think being, and we'll ask you why you ran in a minute, but do you think being supervisor in the town of Hornby will help translate you into becoming a legislator?
I think absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
The town budget process is going to definitely help me towards the county,
Mm-hmm.
you know, working with county manager and however the committees work to break that down.
Yeah.
It'll definitely be a key factor.
Why did you, so you've been on council, then town supervisor, why did you decide to take that next leap and run for legislator?
Being in some politics, being around the county Republican committee, I've kind of started gearing. I was looking to potentially run after Mr. Van Etten's term's up.
Sure.
So that was a target. I got a phone call from Carol.
Oh, yeah, of course. Who's retiring? Congratulations if she's
Carol's
watching.
Retiring, and she asked me to run to replace her.
That's got to feel great.
It was kind of surreal. I took that phone call. It just wasn't odd to get a phone call from her, but it just seemed weird.
Yeah.
A couple days passed and decided to run for it.
Yeah. Did it take a lot of soul searching? Because it's a lot of work. Or was it something that once you had kind of Carol's blessing that you almost felt obligated? Mix, maybe?
No, it was definitely mixed. The family participation was the important.
Sure.
Making sure everyone's on board. But like they pointed out, with her asking, I've got to go for it.
Yeah. Now, we were talking about the petition process, and we all kind of joke about it. But when you're knocking on the doors, I think you learned something about the residents that sometimes you had no idea was an issue. What were you hearing people talk about the most when asking you questions?
A lot of it was taxation.
Yeah.
You know, that people are really worried of where taxes obviously will go or can go. Between property and obviously school is a target now.
Yeah.
But tax is a key to a lot of my conversation.
And we were talking out there, and you raised such a good point. It gets so confusing this time of year because now we're not used to seeing too many primaries in this area. So now we have primaries, and you've got the school vote going on at the same time. A lot of confusion there. Have you had that confusion? Have people made that difficult leap of thinking you're something with the school?
I haven't. I've strayed a little bit from trying to mix school and mine.
Yeah.
But it'll soon be over, and we'll hit it hard.
Great. So one of the things I've talked about, and in full disclosure, I took out petitions for the Republican committee in my hometown of Irwin, and we're going to have a whole week dedicated to the 3 candidates running there on the Republican ticket. One thing that I heard a lot about was the sheriff, and I was wondering what your position is on what has happened at the county level and what has happened with the sheriff.
So my position is I obviously support law enforcement. I don't think law enforcement support is really the target of what happened in Steuben County, but I have spoken with the sheriff. I've spoken to other members of the county legislator, and I'm not there to form that official opinion, what could have or what should have happened. Definitely not going to armchair quarterback. So my point as if presented, if I'm part of this process going forward, I'm going to definitely look at every side of it and see what's right.
Gotcha. Now, what do you see from your perspective of what you'll be dealing with at the legislative level if you're lucky enough to win? Is there goals that you have?
So my first goal literally is going to be watch, listen, and learn. There's going to be so much uptake. I don't want to set a bar here that I can't. I can't achieve.
Sure. Yeah.
Depending on what committee I might be appointed to, we'll go from there. But definitely keeping residents in mind.
Yeah. Now, as we mentioned with the campaign and with the school and all that going on, how do you plan on running this campaign as it nears? The primary vote is June 24th. It's a kind of a shortened. It's weird that if you win on June 24th, you have to wait all the way till November to hopefully get sworn in, right? So, how do you plan on, campaigning?
So I'm going to continue truly door to door, shaking hands, meeting. There's not a week go by that I haven't met a new group of people, new person in the community. We're just gonna hit it hard, back knocking on doors and getting my name out. Have
you learned anything, not from the individual necessarily, I already asked that, but just learned anything about the campaign process during all this?
Yeah.
Okay.
It really never ends.
It never does.
I mean, I'm not putting myself that I'm winning a primary. My goal's to win, but I'm already moving forward looking for November.
Yeah.
I can't sit and wait and see what might happen on June 24th.
Right. So before we go, how can people help your campaign if they want to get involved? Because this is a primary. There's not a lot of time. How can they help you?
Word of mouth is huge. Sharing my Facebook, Justin Eberlin for Steuben County Legislator. My phone number, 607-438-6040. People can contact me anytime. Not just voters, I want to point out.
Yeah.
Residents, property owners in the area.
Yeah. And I've got to believe that because you're running for legislator, people do have very strong opinions on not just your area of Caton, Corningtown, and Hornby. It's probably a discussion on all of Steuben County.
It has.
Yeah.
It's, we live on the farthest side. Steuben County is so large. I don't get a lot of questions what happens over in Hornell per se.
Yeah.
But questions about why is a road or bridge being fixed outside of Bath in our town, or county roads and are being worked on. So it does pop up on.
Sure. So just before we go, as I said, I hope that we can have you on again. This is kind of a meet the candidates forum. I've been thinking, and that's why we pre-tape it. So anybody sending in questions, I appreciate it. We'll get those next time. But what would you say to voters before they head to the booth on June 24th or early vote?
What I'd like to say about voters is obviously a primary. We're here sorting out Republicans. I want people to understand who's the solid Republican candidate for this election.
Gotcha. Well, Justin, thanks so much for giving us the time, and let's book up one or two more. I know you're going to be very busy knocking on doors, but we'd love to have you back on again.
Thank you for having me.
All right. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking. Stay with us.